Welcome back. Welcome back. Here's another story that I figured I'd share with you on how I've used the asset flow calculator. This is really just scratching the surface, but it is helpful because this worked to kind of share this concept with a client and have them really wrap their head around the value of what the message that I was sharing with them. So in this case, I was working with a federal employee that, and their version of a 401k or 403b is a TSP, if you're familiar. TSPs have very rigid rules in regards to distribution and also how the accounts act during distribution. So because of that, the story I was telling for this client, and this is the summary here, but the story I was telling for this client was he wanted to take hefty distributions out of this, especially early, and then had no real plan on, not no real plan on tapering down and things of that nature. But his account was broken down into two of the funds within the TSP, and the way that the TSP works is that you can't just choose one fund to pull money out of. You can't just rely just on the fixed income fund when for distributions when there's money that are in other funds. So I kind of roughly showed how, with his breakdown, the payment would be coming out of both accounts, and I also just took a random swatch of for the money that's more in like an S&P type fund. I took a random swatch of returns and said, hey, you might do really great at times, but you might lose, and you might do really great for a while and then you might lose. And I took the liberty to take the same assumptions across all of the calculators. So we obviously don't have a crystal ball, but we want to make some assumptions using variable rates. And the key for the variable rate here, as you guys probably understand, is that when we're taking withdrawals, we can't assume a constant return. That was the story I needed to tell him. And what I wanted to do was show him that, when he has it broken down between a conservative account and the market account, but we don't have the flexibility to take out of one or the other, or if it's the only place where you can take money out when there's losses, this account's going to deplete rapidly. And that's really what I showed. That's really what I showed here in the summary. And I'm not taking taxes or anything into account with this. We're just talking gross distributions. But I really just wanted to show him that and literally just show him, okay, let's just assume you decide to take hefty withdrawals out of this thing. This account is probably going to wither down to nothing while you're still around because you're retiring young and you want to take hefty withdrawals. That is what it is. But what I ended up using the asset flow calculator to do was, watch how I did this. I went from having two accounts to showing the value of need, and in this case, we needed to leave some money in the TSP because of distributions before age 59 and a half. So I broke it into 5 accounts, as you can see here, and I could toggle these on and off with a right click if necessary. But what I want to do is come over. There it is. What I want to do is come over and look at these for you and show you what I did, and then ultimately show the story. So what I was doing here was kind of showing the TSP being used, still broken down into the 2 accounts for the first couple years. And the idea was it's okay for that to be withdrawn down to 0 because these other 3 accounts were going to be working for us untouched, which is the difference between the original plan, TSP only, and what we're doing here. So we'd have a TSP here broken into 2 funds, and then he kind of just, you see me kind of say, hey, if you want to stay in the market, at least do it in a private IRA where you can decide when you do and do not pull out of that account. So you can kind of take into account buffer years from other accounts. And these are the other accounts. So here was a non-correlated investment. And I even said, let's just randomly pick some numbers here and obviously not touch it for a while, but then also not touch it after years that it might lose value. And then lastly, I wanted to show him the role of here's a fixed index annuity in a private IRA, showing some returns, but showing zeros when there's market drops and stuff like that. But again, choosing when to pull the money out, right? So the outcome of that, we achieved the same hefty withdrawal amount. I'll probably have to put this side by side. That's what I did for him. Put it side by side. Here it is. It's this column right here that I was matching up with this column right here. So withdrawals are the same in both worlds. Started with the same money, 560, 560. But literally what I was showing is that by having a strategy for distributions where we can stick our hand in different buckets, and you saw the 5 buckets that I was using over here, we can improve the longevity of an account even with hefty distributions. And it was nice because this calculator was giving me the opportunity to show that side by side and have improved outcomes. So hopefully that helps.